The Nican Mopohua, the genuine original account of the apparitions of Our Lady of Guadalupe from December the 9th, 1531 until December the 12th of the same year. Here is told and set down in order how a short time ago the perfect Virgin, Holy Mary, Mother of God, our Queen, miraculously appeared out at Tepeyac, nose of the mountain, widely known as Guadalupe. First, she caused herself to be seen by an Indian named Juan Diego, poor but worthy of respect, and then her precious and beloved image appeared before the recently named bishop, Don Fray Juan de Zumarraga. 10 years after the conquest of the water, mountain, and city of Mexico, then the arrows and shields were put aside, when there was peace in all the towns, their waters, and their mountains. Just as it budded, faith now grows green, now opens its corolla, the knowledge of the giver of life, the true God. Then, in the year 1531, a few days into the month of December, it happened that there was an Indian, a Maquehual, a poor man of the people. His name was Juan Diego. He lived in Coahitlan, as they call it, and in all the things of God he belonged to Tlatelolco. It was Saturday, not yet dawn. He was coming in pursuit of God and his commandments. And as he drew near the little hill called Tepeyac, it was beginning to dawn. There he heard, singing on the little hill, like the song of many precious birds. When their voices would stop, it was as if the hill were answering them. Extremely soft and delightful, their songs exceeded those of the Coyol Toltotol and the Tzintzicán and other precious songbirds. Juan Diego stopped to look. He said to himself, "By any chance, am I worthy? Have I deserved what I hear? Perhaps I am only dreaming it. Perhaps I am only dozing. Where am I? Where do I find myself? Is it possible that I am in the place our ancient ancestors, our grandparents told us about, in the land of the flowers, in the land of corn, of our flesh, of our sustenance, perhaps in the land of heaven?" He was looking up toward the top of the hill, toward the direction the sun rises from, toward where the precious heavenly song was coming from. And then, when the singing suddenly stopped, when it could no longer be heard, he heard someone calling him from the top of the hill. Someone was saying to him, "Dear Juan, dearest Juan Diego." Then he dared to go to where the voice was coming from. His heart was not disturbed, and he felt extremely happy and contented. He started to climb to the top of the hill to go see where they were calling him from. And when he reached the top of the hill, he beheld a maiden standing there. She called to him to come close to her. And when he reached where she was, he was filled with admiration, for the way her perfect grandeur exceeded all imagination. Her clothing was shining like the sun, as if it were sending out waves of light, and the stones, the crag on which she stood, seemed to be giving out rays, like precious jades, like jewels they gleamed. The earth seemed to shine with the brilliance of a rainbow in the mist. and the mesquites and prickly pear and the other little plants that are generally up there seemed like quetzal feathers. Their foliage looked like turquoise, and their trunks, their thorns, their prickles were shining like gold. He prostrated himself in her presence, listened to her venerable breath, her venerable words, which were extremely affable, extremely noble, as if from someone who was drawing him toward her and loved him. She said to him, "Listen, my son, my youngest son, Juanito, where are you going?" And he answered her, "My lady, my queen, my little girl, I am going as far as your little house in Mexico, Tlatelolco, to follow the things of God that are to us given, that are taught to us by those who are the images of the Lord, our priests." Then she talks with him. She reveals her precious will. She says to him, "Know, know for sure, my dearest and youngest son, that I am truly the ever-perfect Holy Virgin Mary, who has the honor to be the mother of the one true God for whom we all live, the Creator of the people, the Lord of all around us and of what is close to us, the Lord of heaven, the Lord of earth. I want very much that they build my sacred little house here, in which I will show him, I will exalt him on making him manifest. I will give him to all people in all my personal love, him that is my compassionate gaze, him that is my help, him that is my salvation. Because truly I am honored to be your compassionate mother, yours and that of all the people that live together in this land, and also of all the other various lineages of men, those who love me because who cry to me, those who seek me, those who trust in me. Because there truly will I hear their cry, their sadness, to remedy, to cure all their various troubles, their miseries, their pains, and to bring about what my compassionate and merciful gaze would achieve. Go to the palace of the Bishop of Mexico, and tell him how I have sent you, so that you may reveal to him how I very much want him to build me a house here, to erect my temple on the plain. Tell him everything, all you have seen and marveled at, and what you have heard. And know for sure that I will appreciate it very much and reward it, that because of it I will enrich you, I will glorify you, and because of it you will deserve very much how I reward your fatigue, your service, in going to petition the matter for which I am sending you. Now, my dear son, you have heard my breath, my word. Go, do what you are responsible for doing." And immediately he prostrated himself in her presence. He said to her, "My lady, my little girl, now I go to make your venerable breath, your venerable word a reality. For now I leave you, I, your humble servant." Then he came down the hill to put her errand into action. He got onto the highway and went straight to Mexico City. When he reached the center of the city, he went straight to the palace of the bishop, the governing priest who had just recently arrived. His name was Don Brother Juan de Zumarraga, a Franciscan priest. And as soon as he got there, he then tried to see him. He begged his servants, his helpers, to go and tell him he needed to see him. After a long time, when the reverend bishop ordered that he enter, they came to call him. And as soon as he entered, first he knelt before him, he prostrated himself, then he revealed to him, he told him of the precious breath, the precious word of the Queen of Heaven, her message, and he also told him everything that made him marvel, what he saw, what he heard. But the bishop, having heard this whole story, his message, as if he didn't particularly believe it to be true, answered him. He said to him, "My son, you will come again. I will still hear you calmly. I will look at it carefully from the very beginning. I will consider the reason why you have come. What is your will? What is your wish?" He left. He left sad because the errand entrusted to him was not immediately accepted. Then he returned at the end of the day. He went straight from there to the top of the little hill, and he arrived before her, the Queen of Heaven, there exactly where she had appeared to him the first time. She was waiting for him. As soon as he saw her, he prostrated himself before her. He threw himself to the ground. He said to her, "My mistress, my lady, my queen, my littlest daughter, my little girl, I went to where you sent me to carry out your venerable breath, your venerable word. Although I entered with difficulty to where the place where the governing priest is, I saw him. Before him I placed your venerable breath, your venerable word, as you ordered me to do. He received me kindly and listened with attention, but from the way he answered me, it's as if his heart didn't recognize it. He doesn't think it's true. He said to me, 'You will come again. I will still hear you calmly. I will look at it carefully from the very beginning. I will consider the reason why you have come, what is your will, what is your wish.' We shall see. The way he answered me, it's as though your venerable divine house that you want them to build here, that maybe I just made it up, or maybe that it doesn't come from your venerable lips. So I beg you, my lady, my queen, my little girl, to have one of the nobles who are held in esteem, one who is known, respected, honored. Have him carry on, take your venerable breath, your venerable word, so that he will be delivered. Because I am really just a man from the country. I am the porter's rope. I am a back frame, just a tail, a wing. I myself need to be led, carried on someone's back. It's not my place to go or to stay there when you sent me, my little girl, my littlest daughter, my lady, my girl. Please excuse me. I will afflict your face, your heart. I will fall into your anger, your displeasure, my lady mistress." The perfect virgin, worthy of honor and veneration, answered him, "Listen, my youngest son, know for sure that I have no lack of servants, of messengers, to whom I can give the task of carrying my breath, my word, so that they carry out my will. But it is necessary that you personally go and plead, that by your intercession my wish, my will become a reality. And I beg you, my youngest son, and I strictly order you to go again tomorrow to see the bishop, and in my name make him know, make him hear my wish, my will, so that he will bring into being, he will build my sacred house that I ask of him. And carefully tell him again how I, personally, the ever Virgin Holy Mother, I, who am the Mother of God, sent you as my messenger." For his part, Juan Diego responded and said to her, "My lady, my queen, my little girl, let me not anguish you or grieve your face, your heart. truly with gladness I will go, to carry out your venerable breath, your venerable word. I absolutely will not fail to do it, nor does the road trouble me. I will go now to carry out your will, but maybe I won't be heard, and if I heard, maybe I won't be believed. And if heard, maybe I won't be believed. But truly tomorrow afternoon, when the sun goes down, I will come to return to your venerable breath, to your venerable word, while the governing priest answers to me. Now I respectfully say goodbye to you, my youngest daughter, my younger lady, my little girl, rest a little more. And then he went to his house to rest. On the following day, Sunday, while it was still night time, everything was still dark. He left from his house toward here straight to Tlatelolco. He came to learn about divine things and to be counted in roll call. Then he went to see the governing priest. And around 10 he was ready. He had been to Mass and was counted in the roll, and everyone had left. But he, Juan Diego, then went to the palace, the Reverend Bishop's house. And as soon as he arrived, he went through the whole stragon to see him. After much effort, he saw him again. He knelt at his feet, he wept, he became sad as he spoke to him, as he revealed to him the venerable breath, the venerable word of the Queen of Heaven. He hoped the errant would be believed, the will of the perfect Virgin to make for her, to build for her a sacred little house where she had said where she wanted it. And the governing bishop asked him many, many things. He interrogated him to be certain where he had seen her, what she was like. He told absolutely everything to the Reverend Bishop, and although he told him absolutely everything that he had seen, that he had marveled at, that it appeared perfectly clear that she was the perfect Virgin, the kind, wondrous Mother of our Saviour, our Lord Jesus Christ. Nevertheless, his wish was not fulfilled. The bishop said that not only on his word would his petition be carried out, would what he requested happen, that some other sign was very necessary if he were to believe how the Queen of Heaven personally was sending him as her messenger. As soon as Juan Diego heard that, he said to the bishop, Señor Governor, think about what the sign you ask for will be, because then I will go ask for it of the Queen of Heaven who sent me. And as the bishop saw that he was in agreement, that he did not hesitate or doubt in the slightest, he dismissed him. And as soon as he had left, the bishop ordered some of his household staff, in whom he had absolute trust, to go and follow him, to carefully observe where he went, whom he saw, with whom he spoke. And this they did, and Juan Diego went straight along, following the highway. But those who followed him where the ravine opens near Tepeyac on the wooden bridge came to lose him. And although they searched for him everywhere, they didn't see him anywhere. And so they turned back, not just because they had made terrible fools of themselves, but also because he had frustrated their attempt, he had made them angry. So they went to tell the Reverend Bishop. They put into his head that he shouldn't believe him. They told him how he was only telling him lies, that he was only making up what he came to tell him, or that he was only dreaming or imagining what he was telling him, what he was asking of him. So they decided that if he came again, if he returned, they would grab him right there and punish him severely, so that he would never again tell lies or get people all riled up. Meanwhile, Juan Diego was with the Most Holy Virgin, telling her the response he brought from the Reverend Bishop. And when she heard it, she said to him, "That's fine, my little son. You will come back here tomorrow, so that you may take the bishop the sign he has asked you for. With that he will believe you, and he will no longer have any doubts about all this, nor will he be suspicious of you. And know, my little son, that I will reward the care, the work, and the fatigue that you have put into this for me. So go now, I will be waiting for you here tomorrow." And on the following day, Monday, when Juan Diego was to take some sign in order to be believed, he did not return, because when he arrived at his house, the sickness had struck an uncle of his named Juan Bernardino, and he was very ill. He went to get the doctor who treated him, but it was too late. He was dying. And when night fell, his uncle begged him that while it was still the early hours of the morning, while it was still dark, that he leave towards here, that he come to Tlatelolco, to call one of the priests to go and hear his confession, to get him ready, because it was in his heart that it was truly now time, that now he would die, because he would no longer get up, he would no longer get well. And Tuesday, when it was still very dark, he came to leave from there, from his house, Juan Diego, to Tlatelolco to call a priest. And when he reached the side of the little hill at the foot of Tepeyacac, the end of the mountain range, where the road comes out towards where the sun sets, where he had always gone before, he said, "If I follow the road straight ahead, I don't want this noble lady to see me, because for sure, just like before, she will stop me so I can take the sign of to the governing priest for her, as she ordered me to do. First, we must get rid of our first affliction. First, I must quickly call the priest, since my poor uncle anxiously awaits him." He immediately went around the hill, climbed up the meadow, crossing over it, and emerged towards where the sun rises, so he could quickly arrive in Mexico City, so that the Queen of Heaven would not stop him. He thinks that where he made the turn, the one who sees everywhere perfectly won't see him. He saw how she was coming down from up on the hill, and that from there she had been looking at him from where she saw him before. She came to meet him beside the hill. She came to block his way. She said to him, "My youngest son, what's going on? Where are you going? Where are you headed?" And he grieved a little, or perhaps he became ashamed, or perhaps he became afraid of the situation, became fearful. He prostrated himself before her. He greeted her. He said to her, "My little maiden, my youngest daughter, my little girl, I hope you are happy. How are you this morning? Does your beloved little body feel well, my lady, my girl? Though it grieves me, I will cause your face and your heart anguish. I must tell you, my little girl, that one of your servants, my uncle, is very ill. A terrible sickness has taken hold of him. He will surely die from it soon. And now I shall go quickly to your little house in Mexico, to call one of the ones beloved of our Lord, one of our priests, so that he will go to hear his confession and prepare him. Because in reality for this we were born, we who came to await the task of our death." But while I am going to do this afterwards, I will return here again to go carry your venerable breath, your venerable word, lady, my little girl. Forgive me, be patient with me a little longer, because I am not deceiving you with this, my youngest daughter, my little girl. Tomorrow, without fail, I will come in all haste. As soon as she heard Juan Diego's words, the merciful, perfect Virgin answered him, Listen, put it into your heart, my youngest son, that what frightened you, what afflicted you is nothing. Do not let it disturb your faith, your heart. Do not fear this sickness or any other sickness, nor any sharp or hurtful thing. Am I not here, I, who have the honor to be your mother? Are you not in my shadow and under my protection? Am I not the source of your joy? Are you not in the hollow of my mantle, in the crossing of my arms? Do you need anything more? Let nothing else worry you, disturb you. Don't grieve your uncle's illness, because he will not die of it for now. You may be certain that he is already healed. And at that very moment his uncle was healed, as they later found out. And Juan Diego, when he heard the venerable breath, the venerable word of the Queen of Heaven, he was greatly comforted by it. His heart became peaceful, and he begged her to send him immediately as messenger to see the governing bishop, to take him her sign for proof so that he would believe. And the Queen of Heaven ordered him then to go to the top of the little hill where he had seen her before. She said to him, Go up, my youngest son, to the top of the hill, to where you saw me, and I told you what to do. There you will see spread out several kinds of flowers. Cut them, gather them, put them all together, then come right down, bring them here into my presence. And then Juan Diego climbed the little hill, and when he reached the top, he marveled at how many flowers were spread out there. Their blossoms were open, flowers of every kind, lovely and beautiful, like those of Castile when it was not yet their season, because it was when the frost was worse. The flowers were giving off an extremely soft fragrance, like precious pearls, as if filled with the night's dew. Right away he began to cut them, gathered them all, and put them in the hollow of his tilma. The top of the little hill was certainly not a place in which any flowers grew, because it's rocky. There are burrs, thorny plants, prickly pear, and all abundance of mesquite bushes. And though some small grasses might grow, it was then the month of December, in which the ice eats everything up and destroys it. And immediately he came back down. He came to bring the heavenly maiden the different kinds of flowers which he had gone up to cut. And when she saw them, she took them with her venerable hands. Then she put them back into the hollow of Juan Diego's tilma and said to him, My youngest son, these different kinds of flowers are the proof, the sign, that you will take to the bishop. You will tell him from me that in them he is to see my wish, and that therefore he is to carry out my wish, my will. And you who are my messenger, in you I place my absolute trust. And I strictly order you that only alone in the bishop's presence will you open your tilma and show him what you are carrying. And you will tell him everything exactly. You will tell him that I ordered you to climb to the top of the little hill to cut the flowers. and everything you saw and admired, so that you can convince the governing priest, so that he will then do what is his responsibility to build my little sacred house that I have asked for. And as soon as the heavenly queen gave him her orders, he took the highway. He comes straight to Mexico. Now he comes happily. His heart is tranquil now, because it's going to come out all right. The flowers will see to that. Along the way, he is very careful of what is in the hollow of his tilma, lest he lose something. As he comes, he enjoys the fragrance of the different kinds of exquisite flowers.